Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy. All right, so we are at the final day of 29 tarot spreads in 29 days. And again, I want to thank Dee for doing this tag because I think it has been really useful for getting to know the Greenwood Tarot. Just the number of shufflings and pullings and not understandings and just maybe forcing me to get in touch with what I wasn't understanding and get in touch with what the deck is good for. It's been really helpful. So check out Dee's channel, Dee at DeeVination, DeeVination. I'll try to remember to put a link to her channel down below. She is very worthy of subscribing to, so I encourage anyone to do that. So today I once again dipped into 365 tarot spreads by Sasha Graham. And once again, I'm altering the spread that I found. So, and I actually moved out of February and into March for a spread that's called Secrets of the Forest. And I really didn't keep very much from it. And it's kind of related to the one I did yesterday, and that is trying to look at a relationship to the land. But I don't have a particular forest. I do have a forested vacant lot next to me. I could maybe redo this spread and ask about it. But I don't see any particular reason to do that. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this Secrets of the Forest spread and I'm going to turn it on to a park, one of the areas that I do obedience, dog obedience, in the next town over is called a nature park. And this nature park is separated from the normal park land that is either, well, I think all of it's right in this one spot, like where they have the baseball diamonds and the regular soccer fields and a little picnic area and playground area. All of that is around a rec center in one area. And only recently there's been another area that the Parks Department purchased and set up like a little downtown park with a gazebo. But this nature park has been there like 20 years or 30 years, this separate park, and it's, I think, had various names. Well, I don't know, maybe it always was the nature park. But it's one of those parks that, because it's a little bit removed and because they didn't know what they wanted to do with the land, has been used in ways that are less than desirable. When I go and I see a place like this, right now it's mainly mown. It's meadow, a mown area. They've turned the majority of it into a large soccer field. So, but still, it's not used very much for that purpose. I think there's one day on Sundays, there's a group that is not related to the Parks Department rents the park, this place for holding their soccer games. I don't know what you call that. I'm just not into sports, but they're their own sports group, so they have their own teams that play each other and stuff. And so that's what they use it for. But the rest of the time, the park has no formal use and is actually, has a barrier on the driveway so people can't get into it, but they're maintaining it by mowing it. And there has been some talk of possibly I don't think it's been strong talk, but of putting a shooting range there to transform the park into a shooting range. Well, that doesn't really make sense unless it's going to be an indoor facility, because there's a neighborhood right next to it, for one thing, and so just the sound would be problematic, and you know, as well as any other potential dangers. But yeah, so the city hasn't quite figured out what to do with it, and so they're wanting me out there kind of to show that there is another use for it. It could be maybe turned into a dog park. That's not my mission. I just had been looking for a place um, to do some dog obedience. I'm not sure. Car just drove by and my dogs are getting a little excited about it. Zippy, no. Let's see if they'll shut up or if they'll just get wild. Rufus is poking his nose in the cracked window. All right. So I want to explore this nature park and just see if in the Greenwood Tarot will give me any suggestions. So the first question is, what can the nature park teach me? And that comes pretty much directly from 365 tarot spreads, where the question was, what can the forest teach me? And I think that in the book, they're thinking of the forest in kind of not in a literal sense, like a literal piece of land, but as an archetypal concept. I'm not doing that. I feel like I don't need that question for an archetypal concept. I'm curious about a specific piece of land. So what can the nature park teach me? It speaks to me of a lot of things. Pride, sources of emotional satisfaction. There's a bunch of them here. Essentially all of the cups are kind of nourishing this person's aura or something, so I think this is, I could say that you could use that park to do exactly this, to sit and commune with nature, because that is, to me, what any quiet piece of land, well, it's not undisturbed, it's mowed, and it has a soccer field on it and stuff. But this is what you do. You do it to rejuvenate yourself. Be in touch with nature, rejuvenate yourself. I don't know if that's what it has to teach me, because I already know that it may be this. This is what the nature park can teach people. This is what it can give to people. But that concept isn't real strong in the area that I live. And in a city parks department, they're thinking about not this kind of thing, but recreation. And for them, recreation isn't sitting in meditation, appreciating nature. It's physical activity. It's providing an organized physical sports for young people specifically. That's what it is. That's what recreation is. That's many times the extent of their definition of nature, or of recreation. Forget about artistic recreation or any other form. So I will certainly give the current director of their recreation department oodles of credit for being open to my doing the obedience classes and having a dog park. And there's a sense that she wants to think more outside the box, but there are limitations. There are financial limitations, and she's dealing with her own limitations. I'm sure conceptually in the community as well. So not terribly surprising, not and nothing that gives me a direction, gives me a new direction, let's say that. All right, what secrets does it hold? Are there any secrets that I need to know of? So this may lead me, again, if I refer back to what I came up with, I'm pretty sure this has to do with, it's worded something like enthusiastically accept any opportunities that come your way. Grab that fish. When you see it, grab that fish. Don't hesitate. Don't overanalyze it, that sort of thing. So I feel what it's telling me, and again, this is not very much of a secret, so this isn't, again, revealing anything groundbreaking to me. I may not have any aha moments. It could be that I see quite clearly what's going on with the nature park. And that is that, let me just get this out of here. So Kingfisher, show enthusiasm for every opportunity that comes your way. So what secrets does it hold? Well, part of the problem with this park has become that people will use it however they care to, which can be that people will, hold a fire and have a party and leave a bunch of beer cans behind, that if it's left empty, people will find a use for it, will see it as an open opportunity that doesn't require any permissions whatsoever or any necessarily respect for anything whatsoever, and and trash it. So to me, this is saying that although this doesn't appear to be the case necessarily, that there are still people making use of it without permission necessarily, that see it as an opportunity. It could also be, because we're talking about secrets here, it could also be that something is in the works that I am not aware of. So, in other words, there could be some plans for the use of that land that I am not aware of, that are in fact going forward. But to me, that would be more a people, that the people have the secret, not that the land has the secret. So if the land has the secret, then the land is saying, hey, there are people coming out on me and doing things because the opportunity is there and open. And, if you're walking, then that physical barrier that blocks you from the parking area is no barrier whatsoever. So people from the nearby neighborhood could be coming out and, again, partying or smoking weed, or there's a shelter that's still standing, although it's kind of coming apart, and it has graffiti on it, and I think fairly recently, because I don't think this was the case the last time, there's in the upper part of that covered area, like it would have been a covered picnic area in the past, part of the ceiling area was taken off so that it looks like they had gotten up inside of it. Anyway, So you just know that there's a bunch of teenagers and young adults running around out there doing stuff. So to me, that's what that's about. Number 3, what is the best way to put this land, the nature park, in harmony with public use? The Green Woman. So this could sort of be so I mean this could sort of be like a dog park, but to me there are other cards that might, like the strength card or something, that might indicate that. I mean, this could mean that, but to me this is almost more like a petting zoo, where things, a place where things are raised, or for like a nature center that would have a wildlife rehab component to it, that would also educate the public about the animals, etc. So that's interesting. That is totally new. I would never have thought that. I might, I don't know how she'd get the funds for it, but I might suggest that to the parks director and just say, hey, have you ever thought about turning that area into like a nature center? And, or I could even see, I mean, this area considers itself farm and agricultural, but a lot of people here are totally ignorant of what it takes to raise anything. So just saying, just saying. So even if there were like a mini demo farm, like there was something like this when I was growing up, that where you would go, and here you wouldn't have the threshing probably of wheat, but you'd go and you'd see the sheep sheared, and and I don't know what else we did there. The sheep thing comes to mind, but that's kind of an agricultural a place for agricultural demonstrations, and like I said, and or a rehab center or something like that. Oh, interesting. So yeah, I'm trying to think of whether this spread, if there's any other, not that I would do it now, I'm just rambling now, you can cut out. Feel free to say goodbye if you haven't already. Any other piece of land that I would want to ask these kinds of questions about? But I don't think so. I don't think I would ask it about me. So it's kind of a spread that doesn't have a lot of broader applications unless you were to modify my own modification of it. Another thought here, something I have thought about for this nature park, is to actually make it about, to like have some kind of a summer camp that would be about nature, the observation of nature, and appreciating and understanding the natural cycles, and locating and identifying the different kinds of plants and that sort of thing. But I honestly don't feel up to doing that sort of thing, but again, I could always suggest it to the person in charge. All right, everybody, take care, and I'm sure I'll see you again soon. I will have, for one thing, I'll have a different deck. I'll have my March deck that I will have to get out. And what is my March deck? Not to mention maybe doing a summary on this greenwood, but I might not have to do that because by golly, I've used it so much and have come so far with it that that might not be necessary. Let me see. Oh, I think it's the Arthur Rackham. I'm pretty sure, without even looking, that the next deck that I'm going to be handling is going to be the Arthur Rackham. To try to get to know it. So we'll see. Now that I've done the 29 tarot spreads in 29 days and found it so useful for kind of getting to know this deck in the end, I might try to do something similar but with different spreads or more limited. Just do a couple of different kinds of spreads, like do a couple of romance spreads or relationship spreads, do a couple of personal development spreads, do a couple of financial spreads, and then just kind of see where it goes from there, so that I don't overwhelm people with lots and lots of spreads and lots of repeating. Yeah. So see you again soon. And thanks to everyone who stops by and actually takes the time to listen, especially if you listen through all of my hacking and coughing and throat clearing and rambling and non-pregnant pauses that are just my mind checking out for a couple of minutes. Anyway, thanks everybody. Take care and see you again soon.